Okay, so it's been a while since I've done some of these. Michael Myers had me preoccupied for a little bit, so I couldn't get around to continuing the series, but hey, we're here. I'm gonna try playing catch up. Let's continue on with my top 100 favorite movies. This is number 60 to 51. Number 60. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. I already talked about this movie at length last year, but nobody ever expected this to be as good as it was, because a Disney movie based on a theme park ride? That's preposterous. It can never work. But not only did it work, but I think it's up there with Raiders of the Lost Ark as one of the great adventure films out there. It's a lot of fun, the action scenes and stunts are fantastic, and you're wrapped up in the story, and you got a great bunch of characters. Johnny Depp has certainly gotten tired as Jack Sparrow, but back then this performance was revolutionary. We had never seen anything like that, and it turned into a massive phenomenon. He's fantastic in this movie. Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley are really good as well and have great chemistry. Jeffrey Rush as Hector Barbosa makes for a fantastic villain, and it's just overall a ton of fun. The score is great. Despite all the sequels that range from mediocre to bad, this one still stands out, and I love it. Number 59. The Breakfast Club. This is my favorite John Hughes film. It often goes between a couple like this and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but for me, what makes The Breakfast Club my favorite is the characters. It basically is a bottle film where you put all these characters together in the same room. They're all completely different from another. They don't get along with each other, but as they spend their time in detention with one another, you get to see who these people really are and why they act the way they do. It's funny, it's dramatic. This one still stands out and is just an absolute favorite of mine. Number 58. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. I know it's sacrilegious amongst Trekkies to put this above Wrath of Khan, but I'll admit, Wrath of Khan is a little more of a well-made film, but the reason I put the J.J. Abrams movie above that is because without this movie, I wouldn't have given a shit about Star Trek, because this movie is just a lot of fun. It's a great introduction to the franchise and all these characters. It made me want to go and discover the entire Star Trek series, the movies, the TV shows. And on top of all that, just as a movie on itself, it's a lot of fun, it's emotionally powerful. The dynamic between all the characters are just outstanding. The actors do a phenomenal job. The score is fantastic. J.J. Abrams really knew how to bring in new fans to the series and basically give it new life. And for that, I love this movie. Number 57. The Nightmare Before Christmas. As time goes on, people still debate on whether it's a Halloween movie or it's a Christmas movie. No matter what your opinion is, the right answer is Christmas, it's still a phenomenal stop-motion animated film. The character designs are just so unique, and there's very good attention to detail throughout. The sets are wonderful. It's just full of imagination. The score and songs by Danny Elfman are just great all around. The only flaw that I really have with the movie is that it's way too short, and I wish it could have been longer, but if I want a movie to be even longer, that's a true testament to how much I actually love it. I joked at the beginning, but I personally see this as a Christmas movie because it just puts me in that Christmas mood more than it ever does with Halloween. But still, doesn't matter, still a great movie all around. Number 56. Rope. You're going to be seeing a lot more Hitchcock on this list, but Rope is an outstanding film. I feel like this may have been Alfred Hitchcock's first film in color, but what makes this movie stand out from all the others is the fact that most of it is in one take, or at least it tries to emulate the fact that it's all done in one take. Considering the huge primitive cameras that they had to use back in the late 1940s, the cinematography is just outstanding. There's so much attention to detail within the background of the apartment, where you see the movie start in the daytime and then gradually it just goes to night. And on top of all that, it's a very suspenseful thriller. With two guys that kill a friend of theirs for fun, they hide the body in the apartment as they're holding a party, and you're just waiting for that moment for somebody to discover the body. It is just such a tight script. It's full of intensity. It's everything you want out of a Hitchcock classic. Number 55. Her. Another movie that's not even a decade old, but when I saw this movie, it really spoke to me. Joaquin Phoenix is absolutely phenomenal in this role. It's got a great sense of science fiction to where all of this could technically be plausible at some point in the future. It feels like real sci-fi, but it never overshadows the true core of the movie, which is the love story between Joaquin Phoenix and his AI, Samantha, voiced by Scarlett Johansson. Even though Scarlett Johansson is only there in voice, the chemistry that these two characters have is outstanding. It's a very believable love story. It's funny, but it's also very, very tragic. Again, this movie isn't even 10 years old, but I just saw it at the right time, at the right moment, to where it ended up being one of my favorite movies of all time. Number 54. The Big Lebowski. If I was going to attempt to try to explain what this movie is about, my head would spin. All I know is that this is absolutely hilarious. This is my favorite Coen Brothers film. Jeff Bridges as the dude is phenomenal. It's got so many memorable quotes, not just from him, but also from John Goodman's character, who is just out of his damn mind. You have other great actors here like Sam Elliott, Steve Buscemi, however you pronounce it, Julianne Moore. It's just a fantastic script, great direction by the brothers. I love this movie, but I just need to watch it a few more times to really understand what's going on because it's that weird. But hey, it wouldn't be a Coen Brothers movie if it didn't have any weird elements to it. But yeah, The Big Lebowski is a movie that if you haven't seen it, please see it. And if you hate it, well, then that's just your opinion, man. Number 53. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. More than Batman and more than Beetlejuice, this movie really put Tim Burton on the map, and it's just such a charming movie overall. I've never seen the show Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I wasn't familiar with the character of Pee-wee Herman up until this movie. Paul Reubens as Pee-wee Herman is just such a lovable guy. You can't hate him, and he's so sweet, not an asshole in the slightest. The score by Danny Elfman is great, and for being such an upbeat movie with such a charming character, it has some downright frightening scenes. There's the weird nightmare sequence where Pee-wee's trying to find his bike, but it gets eaten by one of those giant dinosaurs that you find when driving through Palm Springs. And then Large Marge just freaks the hell out of me. I'm sure it freaks the hell out of everyone else, but for that to be in a movie like this is just, I don't know. It's Tim Burton. You can't really explain the weird factor. I don't know where else to go after describing Large Marge. Just see the movie because it's one of the best. Number 52. The Hidden Fortress. Yes, I actually like this movie more than Seven Samurai. Maybe it's because it's shorter, maybe it's because it was the main inspiration for George Lucas's Star Wars, but whatever the case, this is another Kurosawa classic. It's such a brilliant way to tell the story, where it's mainly told from the perspective of two peasants that are basically running away from this war that's going on. It's got phenomenal cinematography, just so many wide-angle shots that just take your breath away. The black and white imagery is beautiful. The characters are very interesting. Even if not in character depth, their personalities just pop out and you remember all of them. The score by Masaru Sato is really good as well, just like all of his other Kurosawa scores. It's just a really well-made movie, and much like with other Kurosawa films, it's definitely one of the most inspirational out there. Number 51. Young Frankenstein. This is my favorite Mel Brooks comedy out there, and actually it was the first one I ever saw before Blazing Saddles, before Spaceballs. This was my introduction to Mel Brooks, and I just fell in love with this movie. I already reviewed it a couple of Halloweens ago, but it's just laugh out loud funny. It's a parody film that, while goofy here and there, actually plays a straight narrative, where it could very well act like a sequel to some of the old Universal Frankenstein movies. But what works in this movie, what really makes this what it is Gene Wilder. He is fantastic in this role. Probably his best role next to Willy Wonka. There are just so many hilarious moments throughout that it's hard to list them all. But, I mean, if you haven't seen it, please see it. And I will list off one memorable moment that I'm sure everyone will love. Blue car! And there you go, those are my favorite movies from number 60 to 51. I'll be back in a couple weeks to list off my favorite movies from number 50 to 41 because I gotta play catch up. So until then, tell me what you think about these picks. Do any of these pop up in your top 100 lists or in this certain area of your favorite movies list? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and of course leave a comment. Don't forget to support my Patreon page, follow me on social media, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.